So with the hand, it fits the rectangle over here, but then when you turn to the side, you squish the end so that it's a little bit wider up here where the thumb and the palm of the hand are. On the torso, you want to make sure that same piece of clay fits both this way, that little drawing I have there, and then this way. So both of them are wider at the top, narrower at the side. That's going to be your torso. Then you're going to take something like a pencil, and you're just going to draw a line nice and light right down the center, front and back. Whichever you want to be the front, you're going to divide it into thirds, so 3 even sections. Just estimate where you think they are, and then take one of those sections, measure. So this section is that long, and then it's the same up to the top, but down at the bottom it's a little too small. So that means everything needs to be shifted up and a little smaller. This one goes up, and try it again. Okay, there's the measurement here, same measurement to the top, same measurement to the bottom, so we have thirds, 3 even sections. Draw a line across, and this bottom one, I'm just going to poke a hole. That's going to be your belly button. I'm going to do the same thing in back, but I don't have to remeasure it. I can just take that line and bring it right around the back. So for the pecs in the front, you're going to do a little V right here and here, upside down V. This follows this line, and then out almost to the side, you just bring it up right there. Same thing over here. For the shoulder blades in the back, it's an L. See the space between the center line and that L, and a backwards L. Okay, back to the front. Now to make those pecs stick out, I need to take the side of my finger or thumb and kind of roll it in. If I show you from the side, it's not going in super deep, just far enough to make this look like it's sticking out a little bit. Don't forget to do the side. Come over to the other edge, turn to the side. Now I don't want it to puff out here unnaturally, so I'm just going to take that and just kind of ramp it down. Make it kind of match. So this is looking like pecs. And then I want to just slightly smooth it out. Now there's also an indentation here, so I can use the edge of my thumb to do that. Now in the back, those shoulder blades, kind of the same thing. Pressing in on the outside of the marks I made here. And then right here at the end of the tail, at the bottom of the L, I'm just going to push up. So you've got shoulder blades there, and just like the pecs have a dip in the middle, so does the shoulder. Now you're going to notice if you turn to the side that it's really wide up here. Our shoulders are not as wide as our chest because you have ribs in there that make the chest puff out, and the shoulders are narrower. So what I do now is I take my fingers and kind of pinch and slide to make this narrower. Not the whole thing narrower, this stays wide, but this comes in so it looks like a shoulder. And usually when you do that, it's going to get a little square up here, so I have to round it out. Now I'm not pressing in here, this is actually going to be the neck. Now go and do the other side, pinching from the side, kind of slide your fingers up, right, like that. So you get it narrower in here, roll it so it's not square. Now I'm going to draw a circle, top down, where I want the neck to be. Pretty big. So the circle is about 1/3 of the width of the whole top. Now I can go ahead where I pinch those shoulders up, and I can just kind of work it in and angle the pecs back. So I'm trying to get a little bit of the neck to stick up, but not losing the definition of the other parts that I've already done. The neck is a bit wider down at the shoulders, and of course narrower up as it goes towards where the head will be. Make sure there's kind of an angle going back. This is a lot wider. This is narrower here, not square, but round on the top. And just kind of turn it from all angles. See if it looks like a person. Okay, so now we want this to be a fairly fit male. So I want where the belly button is to have a little bit of a waist. So just like we pressed in a little bit here, I'm going to press in a little around where the belly button is, and I can do the same in the back. And then we don't want it to stick out like a step, so I just kind of blend. So this is more tapering in here, angling in. not stepping down. Looking closer to a person. All right, now we want to create an area for the arm to attach to the shoulder. So that attaches way up here, but what we're going to do is make a socket. So I'm just going to take my thumb, since my clay is nice and moist, and I'm going to start pushing in. And I'm kind of pushing in and dragging up. Notice this is fairly thin up here, not super thin so it breaks through, but fairly thin. And I want a dip so that when I go to score that arm in, it kind of sinks into that shoulder socket. If I want it to be a raised arm, I'm going to lift that shoulder up, because you can't raise your arm without lifting it up. And go ahead and do the same to the other side. There we go. Now I need to create, kind of like the shoulder sockets, I need to create a socket where the leg goes. So I'm taking my 2 fingers, well, first of all, actually I'm going to make this down here pointed, right there. A sharp point to the end of the torso. It's kind of a little bit of a heart shape point down there. Then I'm going to take my fingers, notice where I'm holding here and here, finger and thumb, and I'm going to press in and push upward, pushing that way. The reason I want to push upwards, and you can tell by the sound of my voice that I'm kind of struggling even though this is wet clay, it takes some force to do that. So I'm creating a little bit of a hip bone by pushing up here. Now if you want that person to be sitting down, its legs are going to go forward, so its torso has to bend. So I very carefully, without kind of collapsing everything, right where that belly button is, repoke the belly button so you can see it, I'm going to make that torso sit forward. Now this doesn't have a butt on it yet, so it's going to be a little weird, but we will get to that when we add the legs up. So just kind of bending it forward. Make sure you still have a nice big hip socket so that when you do those big thighs on there, if you're having it sit forward especially, there's room for it, and actually take it and try it.